All right, on to the game. So my medium deep space freighter detected one of his planets at last this turn. This is not his homeworld, because if it were, there would be a starbase here. So I know that his starbase must be one of these two. And according to this homeworld plugin, it says that it must be this one, because a homeworld must be connected to 3 other planets, as mine is. So I'm going to bet that this is his homeworld. But I'll know for sure in any event this turn, because my medium deep space freighter will be doing a dark sense, and both of these planets are less than 200 light years away. So on this turn, I'm just going to start with my MDSF. I will say that another thing that you should do in Blitz is try to measure where the enemy ship is. So now I have a lot of information about him. I know probably where his homeworld is, I know what ship he built, and I know that he expanded to this planet here pretty early. So I'll try to recreate what he might have done. So on turn 2 he would have had his LCC, and then on turn 3 he would have explored it somewhere. So he would have explored it to probably one of these planets, because I'm guessing he wants to go towards me. And on this turn, the LCC would have left probably this planet. He would have gone another 49 light years. So he might be around here, or he might be in deep space, heading in my direction. So right now, I know with a good chance that the LCC is around this area right now. So I don't want to bring my MDSF any closer to him. He might go there, for example, next turn, and I don't want to encounter it. The LCC is also probably heading towards me, and judging by the military score, he has quite a lot of torpedoes on there. So he might be able to either lay some minefields in my space, or we'll see. In any event, I have to be on the defensive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start getting out some superstar frigates and really soon, so that I can start mine laying. So my MDSF will retreat, and I'm going to bring him back to this planet, and I'm going to do that so that he can pick up some supplies and then go explore this other planet the next turn. I think that other planet is worth checking out. It might have minerals that are important to me. Might even have natives. This planet here does have some moly, but it's pretty low concentration. It's 35%, so that's pretty poor. I'm gonna mine it anyway, or at least try, but it's not a great planet. You usually want at least around 40–45% to start mining. Less than that, you're usually not going to get very good mineral production. So my MDSF is going to go here, and he's going to link up with an LDSF. I'm going to drop mega credits first, the ones that I brought back home, and I'm going to bring some supplies and lots of clans. At my starbase this turn, I'm going to build a superstar frigate. Now, as I've mentioned before, I am low on money, so I am going to try to save as much money as possible. I'll probably give this guy Warp 6 engines, give him some lasers, and I'll go to Mark 4. So I don't have very much money left, so next turn I'm not going to be able to build that many torpedoes. So I'm going to start taxing my colonists, but not too much. Just enough so I can build a bunch of torpedoes for the SSF. And then hopefully turn after that I'll have some income from these native planets here. And this new LDSF that I just built, I'm going to send over here to go help out the avian unity, so we can collect those very important taxes that I know they love to pay. And then we have our Gorby. I brought along some clans and some supplies just to get it started. I'm going to take all this fuel. And I think I'm going to set a course to here. I can get there in 3 turns, whereas over here it will take 4 turns. So this is not a bad place to make landfall after a few turns in deep space. I have tons of fuel, so I don't have to worry too much about getting stranded if I'm over here. Nothing will end your attack worse than running out of fuel in the enemy space. And since I have quite a lot of fuel, I can overdrive if necessary. In Blitz games, what I usually set my starbase to is unload all freighters. So if you're playing against a cloaking race, for example, and you have an LDSF who arrives at a starbase full of minerals and money, unload all freighters mission will cause your starbase to remove all of the cargo and money from that ship before your turn is over, and importantly, before combat happens. So if, say, an enemy LCC destroys my large deep space freighter, I'll at least have gotten all that cargo off of that freighter before it was destroyed. So as default, I usually have unload all freighters as my mission. But in this case, because I'm Evil Empire, I'm going to start using the send fighters mission, and I'm going to send those fighters to my Gorby. So right now the Gorby is only 50 fighters, which might not be enough to win and kill the starbase, but it will be getting 15 new fighters every turn. So after 3 turns, it'll have another 45, so that'll bring my total up to 95, which is pretty good. With that many fighters, I'm pretty confident I can maybe take out his starbase. Now I'm just going to set the tax on these native planets. While I did mention that I like to growth tax my colonists, most of the time I will just tax down the natives to 40 right away. There are some exceptions, like if the planet is has a good temperature, a very good government, and it's basically a population that I want to grow. In this case, though, the population is already pretty big, 6.3 million. Once it gets up to 6.6 million, the growth rate is halved, so I'm not going to get that much growth out of this planet anyway. So I'm just going to start taxing it down to 40 happiness as soon as possible. This other planet is already taxing. Then I'm going to build some factories on this planet. It doesn't have very much right now, but I'm just going to put a few factories to get it started before I go. And I think that's it. All right. So that will be the end of my turn. I just want to mention before I go, there's this one lonely planet far away, about 108 light years from my homeworld. Normally these outlying planets you are not going to be able to explore. They're just too far away from your home planet. And there's lots of advantages to staying in a cluster. You get lots of logistics benefits, and you can build up your economy really quickly within just a few turns. If I go at warp 7 to this planet, it will take me 3 turns. I could try overdriving to warp 8, but that will cost more fuel. And I really just don't know what's around there. And if it turns out it's not a good planet, then I've wasted a few turns sending a freighter there that I could have been doing something else with it. So even just exploring that planet will take 2 turns. And coming back will take another 2 turns if I use my high-speed MDSF here. So there's a good chance that I'm never going to explore this planet in this whole game because it's just too far away. There's a lot of advantages from sticking to your cluster and sticking to things that are just one jump away. So it's possible if this game goes a long time that I will eventually send something there, especially if I'm desperate for a resource like Molly. But probably it's just going to remain unexplored for the whole game. Alrighty, I think that's it for my turn. Gonna do one last thing. I'm gonna set my friendly code really low to 0, 0. This way I can deny right side advantage to the enemy. Basically, if he's on the right side against the carrier, he'll get some bonus mask, which I don't want to do, which I don't want to give him. So I'm going to take that away by trying to force myself to be on the right. All right, that's it for this turn. See you next turn.